Hello and welcome to English 2. I'm your online teacher, Miss Bear. We have been working on a Common Lit unit that is a research unit where we are going to do an expository writing at the end, a writing task at the end. And I do want to remind you, again, this is a Common Lit 360 curriculum, which means Common Lit has put together multiple texts as well as activities to help kind of culminate into one overarching idea. This particular unit is on the fashion industry from past to present and explores many of the different ways that the fashion industry has changed from its original inception into what we see today. And right now we're gathering some evidence from the past about the Lowell Mills or Lowell Mills and that system of that Francis Cabot Lowell put together. And so that leads us to that research question. Francis Cabot Lowell had a utopian vision for a factory that would make profits for the owners while also improving the lives of the workers. What was his vision? And to what extent has his vision been realized since its inception? And as I talked about the last time that we met, we are going to be having a vocabulary quiz today, and we will also be doing a discussion lesson so that when we meet together the next time, we will complete a class discussion. And so you're going to prepare for that today and finish that tomorrow. You'll actually do the discussion piece tomorrow. So I want you to think about this quiz, and your teacher may pause here and give you a little bit of time to study. And so I'm going to pause for a second in case your teacher wants to pause on this graphic. All right, so it is now time to take your quiz. And so for this quiz, your teacher has two different options. The teacher can print the quiz and hand it to you and grade it themselves by clicking on the download materials, or they can assign it to you in the Common Lit platform. Regardless of how your teacher has assigned it, you're going to take your test nonetheless. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm actually going to go back to this slide, and we're going to pause so that you can take your quiz, and then we'll come back together for the next part. Great job. I know some of you, you could tell you just whizzed right through that test because you studied so well. Some of you struggled. Know that you're going to have an opportunity to do another vocabulary set with this unit. So be ready. It may not be the end, and I don't know if your teacher is one to do test corrections or any of that, but I kind of hope that they do, because I think that that helps you really understand the vocabulary in a way that you can internalize it and make it part of your everyday vocabulary. Now, I hope that your teacher has printed out this encouraging synthesis during discussion handout, because we're going to have a little bit of fun for just a second. So if you look at this, it says that we are going to read this as a whole class and the teacher is going to lead this. But I think we need to do something fun, don't you? After a stuffy test, I think we need to have a little fun. So what I would like is for the teacher in the classroom to choose some students. So I would like volunteers. I don't want the teacher just to start assigning. I want volunteers to, let's act out this discussion. And so we need a volunteer for Sue Min. We need a volunteer to be Terrence. We need a volunteer to be Casey. And then we need a volunteer to be Denise. And what I would like to do is for you guys to kind of sit in a semicircle at the front of your class and do this sample discussion dialogue, and then we'll come back together when you guys finish so I can give you instructions to your next piece. But let's act this out, because I think that's going to be fun for you. That was so much fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, what I would like is for you to look at the paragraphs 1 through 10 questions that's in your margins, and it asks for you to find evidence. underline 2 examples of students encouraging their classmates to synthesize the group's ideas. All right, I want you to do that, and then discuss how do you think the questions that Denise and KC asked to improve the conversation. So answer those 2 questions for me. Good job. All right, now let's look at part 2. So flip your paper over, and it says, in our discussion, we are going to practice an important discussion strategy, how to encourage your peers to synthesize during discussion with a partner or independently. So always your teacher gets to decide what that's going to look like. So the teacher that's in your classroom right now gets to decide whether or not you do this independently or with a partner. I want you to read the examples and summarize 2 key points to remember about this skill. All right, now it is time to prepare. You should have a handout that looks like this. It says class discussion, and part 1 is preparing for discussion. It says this is independent work. First, write down your initial ideas about each discussion question, then complete the chart by finding evidence to support your ideas. So I'm going to let you have the rest of the time today to take notes on your for your discussion that you guys will be doing tomorrow. So I'm going to leave you with that. I am going to give your teacher a little bit of direction, a little bit of homework. So you're going to have some homework and your teacher's going to have some homework. So teachers, I'm talking to you right now. You have some options for those classroom discussions. So what I would like for you to do is to review the teacher guide and choose the best method for your classroom, and then share those protocols with the class so that as they are continuing to prepare, when they come for the next time that we meet, when they come for the next day, they are prepared for whichever discussion you have given them, and they have those protocols that they can study as well. So I want to make sure that they are fully prepared, because not only students, now I'm talking to both of you, not only will you be having this discussion, there is a second page where you are going to be taking notes during that discussion. So you need to be prepared for that. So I'm going to leave you to finish gathering all of your evidence, and be ready for this classroom discussion tomorrow. Until next time, happy learning.